Now at 10, Houston ISD handing out pink slips to hundreds of teachers, aides, and support staff. The hope for those now without a job. One of America's most respected journalists, Tom Brokaw, firing back at the woman accusing him of sexual misconduct, why he believes he's being targeted. And what made a police officer stop traffic for a woman dancing in the street?
New tonight, a boy is in critical condition at the hospital after getting hit by a car at his apartment complex.
And neighbors are telling us more needs to be done to protect children who are living there.
This happened off of FM 1960 near Perry Road. That's in Northwest Harris County. Levi Ismail is in the medical center, though, where the boy is being treated. How is he doing, Levi?
Well, this is what we know at this point right now. The boy is inside receiving medical attention, getting surgery at the Memorial Hospital here. Now, we're being told that the boy is in critical condition at this point. Now, the Harris County constables tell me that the child was hit by a slow-moving truck after running out of an alley at his apartment home. That driver did stop, but we're also being told that he did try and offer help at the same time before the boy was airlifted to the hospital. The constables say the driver answered their questions, and tonight they don't believe alcohol was a factor. Parents I talked to say they're less frustrated with the driver and more with the blind spots found at practically each corner of their neighborhood.
We really don't have anywhere for them safe to play other than their playground, but being that this apartment complex is open as it is, I have problems coming out of my garage when cars are coming by, so I know it's going to be an issue with the kids.
As you just heard right there, a lot of frustrated parents just angered at the fact that there are so many of these blind spots and not enough areas, safe areas for their children to play. Stay with us here. We'll try and bring you as many updates as soon as it becomes available for us on the condition of the young boy. Reporting live, Levi Ismail. Now back to you.
All right, thank you, Levi. We'll be wishing that boy a speedy recovery. It is a very tense time to work for Houston ISD as pink slips are being handed out across the district. It is the result of a $115 million budget shortfall. Lauren Talarico joins us live from HISD headquarters. And Lauren, some people have already received those pink slips while others are left waiting.
Yes, and you know what, man, we knew they were coming. We just didn't know who or where. And tonight, as those layoffs continue, it means a lot of very anxious employees. Harvey. A massive budget shortfall, schools at risk of closing, and now layoffs.
17-18 has been one hell of a year in the school district.
It's been one thing after the other for Houston ISD.
It's really been a perfect storm of disaster.
Today, pink slips started going out across the district. Some 250 are expected.
What is going to happen to us?
Which has employees holding their breath.
We've just been trying to prepare and do the best we can for whenever it comes.
Zeph Capo, president of the Houston Federation of Teachers, says the positions will range from teachers to support staff and fears the impacts will trickle down to students.
Increased class sizes. It means developing new relationships and trying to figure out new things. It means less attention for students.
The district will be hosting workshops to help laid off employees and say they'll try to transition them into other positions when possible. And Capo says there could be a silver lining.
The likelihood that they can find another position is very high, considering we generally have to hire between 1,500 and 2,000 teachers a year.
But for employees, including support staff like clerks and teachers' aides,
what's going to happen at the end of May? You know, am I going to come back?
There's little comfort in the unknown.
No one should have to come to work every day concerned about whether they're going to have a job at the end of the day. That's too much stress to be worried about.
Capo encourages anyone who has gotten a pink slip or who gets one to contact the Houston Federation of Teachers. I do want to mention that back in 2015, the district had similar layoffs, but Capo said every teacher in the union they were able to find positions for, so hopefully that happens again. Len?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Lauren. And former President George H.W. Bush is staying in the hospital a little while longer. His son Jeb said earlier this week his dad would hopefully be released from Houston Methodist Hospital today. He's been in the hospital for 6 days, being admitted shortly after the funeral of his wife, Barbara Bush, last weekend. Doctors say he has an infection in his blood, but the Bush family spokesman says Mr. Bush will stay in the hospital at least through the weekend. He's said to be in excellent spirits and looking forward to heading to his summer home in Maine sometime next month.
The city of Houston is using an app to get help for people living on the streets. Mayor Sylvester Turner began the Meaningful Change campaign about a year ago to find safe housing for anyone in need. And rather than giving spare change to panhandlers, you can donate on meaningfulchange.org and track how your money will help the homeless. The mayor talked about the benefits at a community party.
But if you contribute in such a way that we can put them in housing and provide supportive services and meet their short as well as long-term needs, that's meaningful change.
The mayor says one of the biggest accomplishments so far is using federal vouchers to get housing for all homeless veterans.
And there's a traffic alert to tell you about for folks on the north side. That's because the Ironman competition happening tomorrow morning in the Woodlands. This is a live look at the Hardy Toll Road, which will be closed on the southbound side from I-45 all the way to 610. That's for the cycling part of the race. That closure starts at 3 in the morning and lasts until 6 p.m. Saturday. And here's a look at the road closures for the running part of the race, which includes several main roads surrounding Lake Woodlands. Those include Lake Woodlands Drive to East Panther Creek to Woodlands Parkway and back around the lake. To see the entire list of closures and how to get around them, go to KHOU.com.
From the north side to the west side, it's going to be a busy weekend. Another huge event kicking off in Houston this weekend is the BPMS 150. About 13,000 cyclists will take off from 3 different starting points in Houston and spend 2 days riding to the finish line in Austin. And it's all to benefit the National MS Society.
And what a weekend it's going to be as we take a live look at downtown Houston. Spectacular. In fact, it's been like this all weekend, or all week long, I should say.
Let's turn to David Paul with what we can expect. Dave, I think it sounds good already.
I mean, it's been like this all winter and spring long. It's been amazing. We don't often get springs that last this long. Left and right of me, the weather for the weekend is going to be gorgeous. Low humidity on Saturday, high of 83. Low humidity Sunday, high of 84. Enjoy it. Here's the one thing, though. With abundant sunshine and very light winds, those are the ingredients that could elevate ground level ozone. So there's an ozone action day on Saturday. If you want to stay out of the ozone, it peaks between 4 and 7 in the evening. Stay indoors in the AC and you won't be bothered by it. If you have emphysema or if you have lung conditions, that's what you'd want to do. Enjoy this beautiful weather while it lasts, because it won't. Much more humid next week and warming up as well, and then rain chances come in. Oh, and also, like next weekend looks like a rainy mess, so we'll talk more about that coming up in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end. Thanks so much, Dave. Now let's get you caught up on some other top stories from today. The man suspected of being one of California's most notorious serial killers is on suicide watch tonight. Joseph D'Angelo is in a psychiatric ward because he is also talking to himself. He said little during his arraignment today. He's believed to be responsible for at least a dozen murders, rapes, and home burglaries in the 70s and 80s. Kim Jong-un is back in North Korea tonight after a historic meeting with South Korea's president. The pair agreed to officially end the Korean War by the end of the year, resume reunions of families separated during the conflict, and turn the demilitarized zone into what they call a genuine peace zone. And NBC special correspondent Tom Brokaw is vehemently denying sexual misconduct accusations by his former colleague Linda Vester. She says back in the 90s, he invited himself to her hotel room where he allegedly groped and tried to kiss her. He says he did no such thing and only went to her room at her request. He also says Vester failed at her pursuit of stardom and is just venting her grievances.
More shock and disbelief tonight after Bill Cosby was found guilty of sexual assault. At one time, Cosby was one of the most admired entertainers in America, sometimes called America's dad for his portrayal of Cliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show. So when I asked people their opinion about his downfall on my Facebook page, the comments came pouring in like this from Marie-Therese Leslie Vernon. She says, the perfect family dad that he portrayed on TV is not the real Bill Cosby. The real Bill Cosby is a predator. And Robin Delaney Hanning says, I can't tell you how sad and disappointed I am. Cosby is who I learned so much parenting from. He brought about change. I think like many, I didn't want to believe it. Cosby out on bail tonight, but confined to his home, facing up to 10 years in prison for each of the 3 charges he was convicted of when he is sentenced in the next couple of months.